I sit with crossed legs on the hardwood floor of my parents' living room in Portland, enveloped by torn wrapping paper and the artificial pine aroma of Christmas morning. My sister Chelsea, twirling her manicured fingers around a set of gleaming BMW keys, catches the twinkling tree lights on the metal as she spins like a teenager, not a century-year-old woman. "I can hardly believe it," she squeals, bouncing on her toes. "My very own Beamer." Dad beams at her, pride unfiltered, while Mom clasps her hands under her chin as if witnessing a miracle. In the driveway sits the car, a glossy white symbol of parental devotion, adorned with an oversized red bow that likely cost more than my entire Christmas haul. Trexabachi. Meanwhile, I gaze at the item in my lap, a plastic piggy bank shaped like a cartoon character from a kids' show I outgrew Arthur years ago. The price tag, which they forgot to remove, reads "Eder Jolty Jol." Open it. Mom urges, pointing to the small, rubber stopper, on its base. My fingers feel numb as I obey. 2 crisp e-bills drift out. "It's the start of your future home fund, honey," Dad declares with a dismissive wave. "You're always so responsible with money, unlike some people." He winks at Chelsea, who feigns offense. The silence stretches like taffy until Mom breaks it. Chelsea needs reliable transport for her new graphic design clients. Those artsy types expect a certain image, you know? Zespies drops onto the couch next to me, her costly perfume clouding my senses. "Don't worry, sis. I'll drive you around whenever you need," she says, patting my knee with patronizing softness. "Your little Toyota must be on its last legs by now." The Toyota that carried me through 7 hours of mountain passes yesterday. The Toyota I paid off myself 3 years ago. The Toyota more reliable than any bond in this room. I can't breathe. 34 years of moments like this crystallize with perfect clarity in my mind. This isn't an outlier, it's the pattern of my entire life. Just this morning, I carefully wrapped their gifts, a leather briefcase for Dad, costing 2 weeks' salary, a silver bracelet Mom admired in a Seattle boutique window, a professional camera lens Chelsea casually mentioned wanting, all purchased by saving a bit from each paycheck for months. I'd rehearsed my announcement during the entire drive from Seattle, senior structural engineer. The promotion I earned through nights and weekends of extra work, designing buildings to stand for generations. I'd pictured their faces glowing with pride, finally seeing me as more than Chelsea's responsible older sister. "Maybe this Christmas will be different," I whispered to myself at every rest stop, gas station, and mile marker. My hands tremble as I set the piggy bank on the coffee table. The plastic makes a hollow sound against the glass. "Excuse me," I manage, my voice sounding like someone else's. Bathroom. I walk, not run, up the familiar stairs, past the wall of family photos where Chelsea's face dominates every frame. The bathroom door shuts with a soft click before I lock it. My reflection stares back, eyes too dry, face too composed. I press my palms against the cold marble counter, waiting for tears that refuse to come. Instead, pressure builds in my chest like concrete setting around my lungs. People speak of heartbreak as something abstract. It's not. I feel each chamber of my heart contracting painfully, blood struggling through narrowing vessels. My sternum aches as if a knee is pressed against it. This is what dying feels like, I think. Not dramatic, just diminishing. The night stretches endlessly as I lie awake in my childhood bedroom, hearing Chelsea's laughter from downstairs as she and my parents plan her first road trip in the new car. At Arthur a.m., I finally sit up. I pack swiftly, taking only what matters: the faded stuffed bear from my grandmother, the college photo album, the small wooden box holding my first professional blueprint. The expensive gifts I gave them stay where they are. They were never about gratitude anyway. The house is silent as I carry my suitcase downstairs. My house key rests cold in my palm for a moment before dot. I place it on the kitchen counter beside the coffee maker, set to brew in 3 hours. They've made their choice. Now I'm making mine. Streetlights blur into watery halos as I navigate empty highways. The dashboard clock reads Sen, Sarisharar Christmas morning. My windshield wipers fight thickening snow, while Bing Crosby sings of white Christmases on the radio. I twist the volume knob until his voice fades to silence. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. I whisper to the empty passenger seat, my voice breaking on merry. The irony burns like acid. Through Portland's southern outskirts, my Toyota's heater struggles against the December chill. 7 years old with Urbeck Ling miles, this car carried me through college, first jobs, promotions. It never complained about mountain passes or tight parking spots, unlike the shiny BMW in my parents' driveway with its absurd red bow. My car earned its place in my life. Around 6, my phone buzzes against the center console. I glance to see Mom's face lighting up the screen. Not "Are you safe?" or "Please come home." Just, "Did you remember to pay the electric bill for the cabin before leaving Seattle?" The cabin they bought for weekend getaways that Chelsea uses for Instagram photo shoots. A semi-truck passes, spraying slush across my windshield. For 3 terrifying seconds, I drive blind until the wipers clear a view. My hands shake on the steering wheel as memories flood faster than the wipers can clear them. 5th birthday, Chelsea's princess party with professional decorations, pony rides, and a 3-tier castle cake. Sansar's neighborhood kids in party hats. My celebration the next year, a grocery store sheet cake, 2 kindergarten friends, dollar bin party supplies. Your sister needs the social stimulation, Dad explained when I asked why. You're more independent. Independent, their code for you don't need us. High school graduation valedictorian, my carefully crafted speech about persistence and dreams. Empty seats in the family section because Chelsea's junior varsity soccer team had an away game. We'll watch the recording, Mom promised. The VHS tape sat unwrapped on my dresser until I left for college. Your sister needs encouragement, Mom said. You always succeed without our help. Without help. Without help. Their code for you're on your own. College years flash by as highway signs count down miles to the California border. Working Arthur hours a week at the campus bookstore and cafeteria, taking maximum course loads to graduate early, stretching student loans and scholarships while Chelsea explored artistic inspiration in Europe on our parents' dime. Your sister needs to find herself, Dad insisted during a rare phone call. You've always known exactly who you are, known who I am. Their code for you don't deserve exploration. My phone buzzes again. Dad, this time, I let it ring until voicemail takes it. Dawn's first light brightens the eastern horizon as tears blur oncoming headlights into golden streaks. I pull onto the shoulder, hazards blinking, and press my forehead against the steering wheel. The patterns crystallize with sudden clarity, Dad controlling the money, withholding from me, while funding Chelsea's every whim. Mom manipulating emotions, making me feel selfish for wanting even scraps of attention. A perfect system, one parent handling financial favoritism, the other maintaining emotional control. My phone rings again. Not family this time. Monica Perez, my college roommate turned lifelong friend. Where are you? Her warm, worried voice fills the car through Bluetooth. Somewhere in Southern Oregon, I reply, my voice hollow, unrecognizable. Heading south to where? I don't know. The line goes quiet for a moment. Then come to San Francisco. Stay with me. Family doesn't treat family like this. Monica knows. She saw the evidence in college, packages arriving for me with practical necessities while Chelsea got designer clothes. Holiday breaks when I stayed in dorms because flying home was too expensive. The same years my parents took Chelsea to Aspen and Maui. I can't impose, I say. Stop, Monica's voice firms. You've spent your life being the helper. Let someone help you for once. The words crack something open inside me. Help. Help. A simple, foreign concept. In my family, help flows one way, toward Chelsea, toward my parents, never toward me. Okay, I whisper, surprising myself. Text me your location every hour. Drive safe. I'm making up the guest room. The call ends. I ease back onto the highway, wipers clearing fresh snow. For the first time since leaving Portland, my shoulders relax slightly from their defensive hunch. By Chi, Centursay.m. I cross the California state line. The Welcome to California sign gleams in early sunlight. My phone shows jerky missed calls, Sanchurar text messages. With deliberate motions, I silence notifications from Mom, Dad, and Chelsea. The silence feels heavier than any. My stomach growls, reminding me I haven't eaten since yesterday's Christmas Eve dinner. A small roadside diner appears ahead, its neon open sign a beacon in the morning light. I pull into the nearly empty parking lot. Inside, warmth wraps around me like an embrace, coffee-scented air, the sizzle of breakfast on a distant grill. An older waitress with silver-streaked hair approaches with a coffee pot. "Rough night?" she asks, filling a mug without waiting for my answer. Her name tag reads Gloria. "Row life," I mutter, then feel embarrassed by the melodrama. Gloria doesn't flinch. "Honey, I've been serving coffee for sure years. I know heartbreak when I see it. Family or boyfriend? Family." She nods, sliding a menu toward me. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." Her weathered hand rests briefly on mine. "The special's good today. Comes with extra bacon." I order the special and wrap my hands around the coffee mug. Gloria's words echo as I watch snowflakes dissolve against the window glass. "Blood makes you related. Love and respect make you family." For sus years, I've been related to the Collins family. Maybe it's time to discover what being part of a real family feels like. 3 weeks later, I'm with my friend in San Francisco. My phone vibrates against the nightstand for the Jus Santh time this morning. Dad's number again. I count to 10 before silencing it, adding his call to the growing cemetery of voicemails I refuse to resurrect. The first week, their messages were confused. The second, concerned. Now in week 3, they've turned darker. Manipulation cloaked in parental authority. Iris Elizabeth Collins. Dad's latest voicemail thunders when I finally check. "If you don't return this car immediately, I'll report it stolen. This childish behavior has gone on long enough." The Toyota, my Toyota, the one with my name on the title and 7 years of paid-off receipts. I crush the throw pillow against my stomach, swallowing the acid rising in my throat. Mom's message follows. "The doctor says my blood pressure is dangerously high because of the stress you're causing." Is that what you want, for me to end up in the hospital because you're being selfish? I delete both without replying, though my finger hovers over the screen longer than I'd like to admit. My temporary sanctuary in Monica's spare bedroom feels both foreign and familiar. The walls, painted soft terracotta, catch the morning light, warming the space in ways my Seattle apartment never did. On the dresser, my laptop displays an email I've rewritten 14 times. "Dear Mr. Sanderson, I'm writing to formally request a transfer to the San Francisco office, effective immediately." My finger clicks send before I can reconsider. No family connections, no favors called in, just my work record, my reputation, my worth as a structural engineer. 3 hours later, the approval lands in my inbox. Just like that, as if I've always been capable of forging my own path. "You got it?" Monica appears in the doorway, reading my expression. Her dark curls frame a face lined with genuine joy for me, a concept still foreign. Someone celebrating my achievements without centering themselves. "I start Monday," I confirm. "Now I just need to find a place." Monica grins. "Already called Andrea from book club. She manages apartments in the Mission District, rent-controlled, safe building, 20-minute walk to your new office." "You didn't have to. I wanted to." She cuts me off, dropping onto the bed beside me. Friends help friends, no strings attached. Novel concept for you, I know. The words hit their mark. No strings, no obligations, no scorekeeping. The tears I've held back for 3 weeks threaten to break through. I made you an appointment too, she adds, sliding a business card onto my laptop. Dr. Levine, Tuesday at 4. The card reads, Elaine Levine, PhD Family Therapy. I'm not crazy, I whisper. No, Monica agrees. But you've been carrying something heavy for a long time. It might help to put it down somewhere safe. On Tuesday afternoon, the therapist's office smells of lemon furniture polish and old books. Doctor. Levine wears reading glasses on a beaded chain and sensible shoes that make no sound on the carpet. She doesn't rush to fill silences, just waits as I struggle to form words never spoken aloud. Favoritism, I finally say, the word hanging between us like a newly discovered planet, my entire life. And how did that make you feel? She asks. Like I was worth exactly $2, I answer. Later that week, the apartment Andrea shows me is small, Lou by Worcester square feet, with a kitchenette barely wide enough for a refrigerator. But the windows face west, catching afternoon sunlight that spills across hardwood floors. It's mine by nightfall. I buy a futon, a lamp, a small desk, nothing more. The emptiness feels intentional, not impoverished, a space to grow into. Monica drags me to a community center the following Saturday. Pottery class, she announces. You need something that isn't work or therapy. I protest until my hands sink into cool clay, feeling it yield and resist at once. The instructor, a woman with silver hair and paint-spattered overalls, stands behind me. Don't force it, she murmurs. Listen to what it wants to become. My fingers tremble as they shape something from nothing. By class end, I've made a small, imperfect bowl with uneven edges. Hideous, beautiful, entirely mine. The first video call comes 4 weeks after Christmas. I answer on the third ring, bracing against the familiar surge of guilt their faces trigger. Where have you been? Dad demands, his face filling the screen red with indignation. Your mother's been worried sick. Behind him, Mom dabs at eyes that remain strategically dry. San Francisco. I reply calmly. I transferred. Offices. Without discussing it with us first, Mom interjects, pushing into frame. How could you be so inconsiderate? The old pull tugs at my chest, apologize, placate, make it right. But Doctor. Levine's words echo. Your feelings are valid. Their reactions belong to them, not you. I needed space. I say. Instead. Space from what? Dad barks. From family, from responsibility, from growing up, from feeling invisible? I reply, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. From being valued less than Chelsea? From trying to earn love that should have been freely given? Mom's tears flow instantly, right on cue. How can you say such hurtful things? We've always loved you both, the same. I'm not responsible for your feelings anymore, I tell her. The words feel like stones I've carried in my mouth for years, finally released. I'm responsible for mine. Dad slams his palm against the table. This conversation's over until you're ready to apologize. Then I guess we're done talking, I answer, ending the call. In the days that follow, rumors reach me through LinkedIn messages and texts from former coworkers. According to family lore, I've had a mental breakdown, I'm living in squalor, I've joined a cult. Tyndall's Instagram shows her looking concerned in tastefully filtered photos, captioned with vague references to family heartbreak and prayers for those struggling with mental health. My new coworkers know none of this. They see only my work, the precision of my calculations, the innovation in my designs. When Chelsea shows up unannounced at the office reception 10 days later, Monica's there dropping off lunch. She's in a meeting, Monica informs her coolly, and she'll remain in meetings indefinitely for uninvited visitors. My therapy group meets Wednesday evenings in a church basement smelling of coffee and old hymnals. 8 strangers connected by Family doesn't get a pass just because they're family, says Raymond, a luxury-year-old accountant who hasn't spoken to his brother in arse years. Love without respect isn't love, it's possession. The words settle in my chest like truth. 6 months after Christmas, my apartment has transformed. Pottery lines the windowsills, each piece more refined than the last. A proper bed has replaced the futon. The promotion to senior project manager came with a raise that ended lingering financial anxiety. On my bookshelf sits the plastic piggy bank, now filled with crisp $2 bills, one for each week of freedom. Not as punishment, but as a reminder, sometimes the smallest betrayals reveal the largest truths. The first holiday season approaches with both dread and relief. No gifts to buy that won't be appreciated, no performances to maintain, no diminishment to endure, just me, in a space I've created, becoming someone I'm finally learning to value, worth far more than $2. A month later, the ivory envelope sits on my kitchen counter like a landmine, untouched for 3 days. Cousin Vanessa's wedding invitation. My name in swooping calligraphy, Iris Collins, no +1. Just me, expected to return to the fold alone. So, what are you thinking, Doctor? Winters asks, her office chair creaking as she leans forward. I trace the edge of the armrest, counting the brass tacks one by one. I'm going, I say. Her eyebrows rise slightly. That's a change from last week. On my terms, I add quickly. I've booked a room at the Hilton, 4 blocks from the venue. Dad called twice, insisting I stay at their rental house with everyone. And what did you say? Nothing. I smile, recalling the satisfaction of letting his voicemail fill with increasingly desperate messages. The boundary is the message. 7 months of therapy has taught me the vocabulary of self-protection. 7 months since I drove away from Christmas. 7 months of rebuilding myself, 1 therapy session, 1 pottery class, 1 peaceful evening alone at a time. During the session, my phone buzzes. Chelsea, the 3rd text today. Can't wait to see you next weekend. We need sister time before the wedding madness. I slide the phone back into my purse without responding, Doctor. Winters notices. Your sister again? Suddenly, we're best friends. I laugh, but it sounds hollow. She never texted this much when we lived in the same city. What do you think she wants? A ride from the airport, money, the old Iris who carried her emotional baggage along with her actual luggage. I run my fingers across the midnight blue silk swatch on my lap, fabric for the dress I've commissioned. 3 fittings to ensure it hangs perfectly from my shoulders. Skims my curves without apology. A color of power, not reconciliation. They've enlisted flying monkeys, I tell Dr. Winters. Uncle Pete called last night about families sticking together. Aunt Judith emailed about forgiveness being divine. Even Vanessa's fiancé sent a Facebook message. They're coordinating. And how does that make you feel? Before therapy, I'd have said fine, always fine. Instead, I trace the physical truth, the tightness in my throat, cold sweat along my hairline, a slight tremor in my fingers. Terrified, I admit, but also ready. Later that evening, I spread the seating chart Vanessa accidentally included in a group email across my kitchen table. There I am, placed between my parents, directly across from Chelsea, a restored family tableau. I reach for my phone. Vanessa? It's Iris. I have a small request about the seating arrangements. Di arrives with San Francisco fog that burns off as my plane takes off. The clouds part over Oregon, revealing the landscape of my childhood. My heartbeat quickens as we descend into Portland. The rehearsal dinner venue glows golden against the twilight sky. I stand on the sidewalk, touching the smooth stone pendant Monica gave me before I left. Strength isn't about not feeling fear, she'd said. It's about feeling it and walking forward anyway. I straighten my shoulders and pull open the heavy wooden door. Conversations halt mid-sentence. Heads turn. My mother's hand flies to her throat. My father's drink pauses halfway to his lips. Such strain. The Iris who fled at Christmas was a shadow. This woman, in tailored black pants, emerald silk blouse, and heels that announce each step with authority, is solid, present. B. The diamond studs in my ears catch the light as I scan the room, nodding acknowledgments without rushing toward anyone. Beans approaches first, arms outstretched, but something's different. The designer watch is gone, her highlights grown out. Her smile seems strained, not entitled. "You look amazing," she says, embracing me briefly. "Thank you," I reply, stepping back to maintain space. "How's the BMW treating you?" Her eyes dart away. I had to trade it in, got a Honda, more practical, you know?" Beyond her shoulder, I see my parents huddled with Aunt Martha. Mom dabs at her eyes with a cocktail napkin. Dad's shoulders slump in a posture I've never seen. Cousin Tara appears at my elbow, vodka tonic in hand. "God, I'm glad you're here," she whispers. "You wouldn't believe the drama since Christmas." "Your parents are selling the house." She leans closer. "Medical bills, they say, but everyone knows they've been floating Chelsea for years." Reality caught up. Before I can respond, a waiter circulates with champagne. I take a glass, watching bubbles rise and burst. Like family stories, what rises eventually pops. Uncle Simon approaches, clasping my free hand. "You're looking well, Iris. That San Francisco job must agree with you." "Senior project manager now," I say, the words still fresh on my tongue. His eyes widen. "No kidding? That's wonderful." More relatives orbit toward me through the evening. Cousin Michael confesses he always noticed how differently I was treated. Aunt Martha hugs me tightly, whispering, "Your father lost his job 3 months ago. Your mother's on anxiety medication." I absorb each revelation with the detachment of someone watching waves break from higher ground. My father corners me during cocktail hour, bourbon heavy on his breath. "Family sticks together, Iris," he says, his voice carrying its old authority, but something has crumbled beneath it. "No matter what, does it, Dad?" I meet his gaze without flinching. "Or do some family members stick together while others get pushed aside?" His face reddens. "We've always supported you." $2 in a piggy bank," I say softly, the words landing with precision. "That was your definition of support." He opens his mouth, closes it, then walks away. In the ladies' room, my mother appears beside me at the sink, eyes swimming with tears. "We miss you so much," she says, reaching for my hand. I keep washing my hands, soap slippery between my fingers. "I miss who I thought you were, too." Back in the main room, Chelsea pulls me onto the terrace. The evening air carries the scent of roses from the garden below. The BMW got repossessed, she blurts out. "I'm drowning in debt, design clients dried up, Dad can't help anymore." Her voice cracks. "I don't know how to do this, Iris. I never learned to stand on my own." The confession hangs between us. 7 months ago, I'd have offered solutions, money, a place to stay. The old Iris would have added this burden to her collection. Instead, I place my hand gently on her arm. On her arm. "That sounds really hard, Chelsea. I feel compassion without responsibility. A distinction months of therapy taught me." "I'm sorry you're going through that." Her eyes widen slightly at my response. "Compassion without rescue." "I can help make a budget," I offer, "but I can't fix this for you." Over her shoulder, I see Vanessa in her pre-wedding glow, surrounded by bridesmaids. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight, on this terrace, with the weight of family expectations sliding off my shoulders like water, I'm no longer afraid. I am the woman who walked away from a lifetime of diminishment, who built a life from the foundation up. Whatever comes next, I'll face it standing firmly on ground of my own making. The next day, I stand in the bridal suite of Magnolia Gardens, watching cousin Vanessa transform from nervous bride to radiant woman. Morning sun pours through tall casting a gentle golden light that feels at odds with the storm brewing in my chest. "Iris, your parents are looking for you," Aunt Martha whispers, her fingers gentle on my forearm. "They're in the library, said it's important." I knew this moment was coming. 7 months since I walked out of their Portland home, leaving only a note and a lifetime of resentment. "Thanks, Martha," I say, my voice calmer than I feel. "I'll find them after I help Vanessa with her veil." Martha's eyes soften. They mentioned a family emergency before the ceremony. Of course they did. The library door feels heavier than physics allows as I push it open sensor minutes later. Mom sits ramrod straight in a high-backed chair, tissues clutched in her hand. Dad paces by the fireplace, his movements sharp, contained. Dency stands by the window, wearing a dress that costs more than my first month's rent in San Francisco, though the repossessed BMW is nowhere in sight. "Iris, thank God," Mom says, rising, arms outstretched. "We need to talk as a family." I stay in the doorway. The ceremony starts in sure minutes. "Sit down, Iris," Dad says, gesturing to the empty chair positioned to face all three of them. A staged intervention. This can't wait any longer. I close the door but don't move toward the chair. I'm listening. 2 steps forward. "Iris, this has gone far enough. Dad lost his job 3 months ago. The company downsized." Dad interjects quickly. "Budget cuts. Mom's been seeing a therapist for depression," Chelsea continues. "This all started when you left at Christmas." Mom dabs at dry eyes. "We're selling the house." The perfect trifecta: financial crisis, health concerns, guilt, all in one package. 7 months ago, I'd have crumpled under their expectations, apologized for something not my fault, offered help. Today, I walk to the chair, set my purse beside it, and sit spine straight. "I'm sorry to hear about your job, Dad. And Mom, I'm glad you're getting help." Their faces show confusion at my calm response. "Didn't you hear what we said?" Chelsea's voice rises. "They're selling the house because of you." "No, they're selling the house because of choices they made long before I left." I pull a leather-bound photo album from my purse. "I brought something to show you." Mom frowns. "We don't have time for—" "You called this meeting," I say, "so we have time." The first page shows 2 birthday parties side by side, Chelsea's elaborate princess theme with hired entertainers, and mine the same year with a grocery store cake at the kitchen table. Remember these? I flip through pages of Christmas mornings, graduations, family vacations, where the pattern of favoritism is unmistakable. I spent months compiling evidence of what I always felt but couldn't prove. Dad's face flushes. "This is ridiculous. We always treated you girls equally." I pull out a folder of bank statements. My student loans, Locherty Ling, still being paid. Denta's education fully funded, including her year in Europe for art inspiration. Chelsea shifts uncomfortably. "That's not fair." "You chose engineering. That was your decision." "It was my passion." I correct her, "just like art was yours. The difference is, my passion wasn't deemed worth investing in." Mom rises, hands trembling. "We didn't have the money when you went to college." "Things were different by the time." "Chelsea, I learned everything about your financial records years ago." "Mom," I cut her off. "Dad's promotion came when I was sure Lou Grandma's inheritance arrived before my freshman year. You had the money. You chose not to spend it on me." The room grows quiet as I lay out birthday cards spanning center years. Chelsea's messages overflow with effusive love. Mine contain practical advice, reminders to work hard. "We always knew you'd be fine," Dad finally says, his defensiveness quacking. "You were always so capable." There it is, the truth behind decades of disparity. Being capable didn't mean I deserved less love, I say, my voice steady despite the heat behind my eyes. Being responsible didn't mean I should carry everyone else's burdens. Mom collapses into genuine tears, not manipulative ones. We never meant to hurt you. Intent doesn't erase impact. I reach into my purse one final time. The plastic piggy bank makes a hollow sound as I set it on the coffee table. Dad stares. What is this nonsense? I remove the rubber stopper. Dozens of crisp R-bills spill out, unusual currency that catches the eye. I've saved a R bill for every week since Christmas, I explain. This isn't about money. It's about what you thought I was worth. Chelsea picks up a bill, turning it over in her fingers. I never realized how it looked from your side, she says, her voice lacking its usual defensive edge. They never taught me to stand on my own. Outside the library, relatives' voices float through the heavy door. In minutes, they'll gather to celebrate love and commitment while our family confronts decades of its absence. I don't want apologies, I say standing. I want change. I'll consider reconciliation under two conditions: family therapy and respect for my boundaries. Dad opens his mouth to argue, but Mom places her hand on his arm. We'll do it, she says, surprising us all, whatever it takes. I gather my evidence and the piggy bank, but leave its contents on the table. That's yours to keep. A reminder of what happens when you value one child over another. Walking toward the door, I pause, hand on the knob. I need to take my seat for the ceremony. My friend Monica is saving me a place. As I step into the hallway, my back straight, heart lighter than it's been in months, I hear Chelsea whisper to our parents, "She's different now." She's right. The woman who left that Christmas morning, carrying only grief and resolution, is gone. In her place stands someone who finally understands her worth isn't measured by what others think she deserves, but by what she refuses to accept. On Christmas, sunlight spills across the hardwood floors of my San Francisco apartment as friends gather around a table that's truly mine. The scent of rosemary and sage from the roasting turkey blends with laughter, real laughter, not the strained kind that echoed through my parents' house. To Iris, Monica raises her glass, her dark curls catching the window's light. Who builds bridges better than anyone I know, at work and in life? My cheeks warm at the toast. 1 year ago today, I left a house key on a counter and drove away from everything familiar. Now I stand in an apartment filled with people who choose to be here, surrounded by pottery I created with my own hands. And to Senior Project Manager Collins, adds Elliot, his fingers brushing mine under the table. His touch sends electricity through me, not the lightning of infatuation, but the steady current of something building toward permanence. Elliot gets deadlines and structural integrity, an environmental engineer who values sustainability in buildings and relationships. When he asked me to coffee 6 months ago, I nearly declined. Old habits of self-sacrifice die hard. Dr. Winters called it progress when I said yes. The kitchen timer chimes, saving me from acknowledging their praise. Some changes take longer. Need help? Elliot asks, following me into the kitchen. I've got it, I say automatically, then catch myself recalling Dr. Winters' challenge: accepting help doesn't diminish your strength. Actually, could you carve the turkey? I never learned how. My phone vibrates with a video call from Chelsea. Monthly calls, a boundary we set after the wedding confrontation. I answer while Elliot handles the carving. Merry Christmas, Chelsea says, her face filling the screen. Her apartment, visible behind her, looks smaller than mine. No designer furniture, no luxury car outside. Working 2 jobs has given her a new perspective on money, along with the shadows under her eyes. You look happy, she says, her voice softer than before. Your place looks beautiful. It feels like home, I reply, angling the camera to show my pottery studio in the spare bedroom. Once formless clay, now shaped into bowls and vases lining the shelves. How are Mom and Dad? Dad's core stays sober today. He wanted me to tell you, she says, adjusting the camera to reveal our father in a modest apartment living room, looking smaller somehow. What? The A meetings are helping. He's different when he's not drinking. I nod, not ready to process that fully. And Mom, still volunteering at the community center. She wanted to join the call but had an emergency food drive. Mass pauses. They ask about you, not in the old way though. We talk a few more minutes before saying goodbye. The wall clock signals. It's time for dinner. Around my table, conversation flows between Monica, Elliot, and friends from my engineering firm and pottery class. No one mentions the piggy bank on my mantel, now filled with dollar bills representing lessons, not resentment. After dessert, Chelsea texts a photo of a handmade clay ornament, her first attempt at pottery. Not pretty, but made with love, mailing it tomorrow. Then another message from Mom: found this in the attic while downsizing. It always belonged to you. The attachment shows my childhood dollhouse, the one thing I truly loved growing up, with deed transfer paperwork making it officially mine. Later, when everyone's gone and Elliot helps with the last dishes, I step onto my balcony. San Francisco Bay stretches before me, bridge lights reflecting on dark water. Buildings I helped design stand silhouetted against the night sky. Worth isn't something you earn through usefulness, I whisper to the city lights. It's something you claim by knowing what you will and won't accept. Elliot joins me, wrapping a blanket around my shoulders against the December chill. Deep thoughts? Just grateful, I reply, leaning into his warmth. Sometimes the greatest gift is realizing what you won't accept anymore. The piggy bank, visible through the window, is no longer a symbol of what I lacked, but what I found the courage to value myself first.